Maybe you want.
Specifically, I mean, as we go, as we go, I can answer any questions or anything, but I think you have it covered, you know, with the transfer of the bank account and all that stuff. Let's see how it goes. And
perfect. And you can jump in and save the day.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good deal. Okay. Well, I apologize. I only have one screen, so you'll have to bear with me running through between this and then the activity that we'll do. But so today it's just the board and officer call. The high level agenda for the day, we'll go over the section update, just looking at membership trends, the financial activity. And then we want to continue the discussion around kind of the future of DSATS from a not only naming perspective, but where the focus area should be, since automation has kind of gotten to a point that it's close to an industry standard at this point and less of a up and coming technology. I left some open time for subcommittee updates. I didn't have anybody kind of for sure updating, but left some time there. And then wanted to talk about events around upcoming community meetings. And then John will give a brief update on the symposium planning for ATCE. So for membership trends, and this is through March, professional membership is dropped 24% since December. Looking at kind of the yearly trends, it's pretty usual to have the big drop from December to January. But it is increasing month over month, just not at the same pace that we were in 2024 for professional members. Interestingly enough, student membership is outpacing 2024. And we've had a relatively big jump from January, February to March, presumably from the IDC SPE conference. I'd assume that was a big jump in some of those memberships. You can see up here too the kind of significant drop so far in 2025. Hopefully that'll grow throughout the year. And then I think it's interesting to look at kind of membership by company, just to see kind of where the bulk of our membership is. And I think that could help kind of guide some of our messaging and focal points as well when we move into that next activity. So primarily in the service side of things, and then like a happy mix of oil companies and consultants, and then a few in the academia realm as well. I'll hand it over to Robert really quickly to go over the summary of accounts and the financial update.
Yes, we had a few expenditures paid for the live stream for the drilling conference. And the one note there, not that it may be more for Sam, is we show a transfer as invoiced from Bulgan Media, but their account actually received a different amount. It was 100 NOK less than what we sent them. The other major expenses were Drillbotics, of course, just for the travel. And that really concludes the major expenses. Income was for DWIZ. We had 15 additional registrations since the last time we had a report out in February. This brings the total to 43. And we just haven't transferred the additional registrations to the DWIZ account yet. So I'll leave that to Sam once the Wells Fargo accounts are transferred fully to the new treasurer. And so that summarizes, we had a decrease in our bank accounts of $5,730 since the last report out.
Hey,
other activity? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Robert, to interrupt you. The live stream was 3,400. That's interesting because they quoted us 5,000, or they quoted NOK that we converted to $5,000. So that's going to lift the outcome from the symposium by probably $1,600 going into the general account. That's good.
That is excellent.
Yeah, that's good. I also actually saw the account just yesterday. So yeah, I think it was very good.
So what is the difference there, John? Is it because the allowance from SPE covered part of it, or
No,
the
no,
budget?
I shouldn't. I don't want to step over Serafima. I didn't notice you were there, Serafima. Serafima knows the details, so let her respond.
No, the thing is that they calculate, it was like the main payment is based on the hours, right? So there was an estimate, I think that they provided, and it was around 5,000 or something
Okay.
like that, right? And it looks like that, I guess maybe they used less hours, right? And so therefore we got billed for
Yeah. Okay,
what they
that's good.
used. So that was good.
And this 100 NOK difference is because of a bank fee, or I mean, do we owe still that 100 NOK to them, or what?
I don't know the answer. Our bank shows that we paid in full,
Yeah.
and their bank just shows 100 NOK less than what our bank shows.
Oh, so it might be the wire transfers fees
Yeah,
on the
most likely.
receiving
Yeah,
end.
there's a.
So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
people do that to me all the time, I tell them you should pay the wire transfer fee, and I end up having to pay as well. And yeah, so you can set it to pay all fees from your account, or that you pay your fees and they pay their fees. So they may have been hit with a fee on receiving end.
Yeah.
I believe that's the case because we did pay fees on our end as well.
Yeah, I think just for a future reference, there is usually a selection, an option to select that you pay their fees as well. But yeah, people don't do that for me. I just annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
For the
So,
for
from
the
Bolgan's
sympo-
perspective, is there any balance remaining because of the wire transfer fees?
They haven't communicated back. The last communication we had, I asked them to check on their end if there was a fee that we weren't aware of.
Mhm.
And I was planning to ask Wells Fargo when we meet with them on the bank account transfers. But it's likely a fee that was not apparent to us when we submitted for the transfer. We did select to pay the fees and we paid, but this one was not apparent.
So
in that
hey,
process.
Serafima, so it's 100 NOK, so it's what, $10?
Yeah, I can just transfer it if they're sure. I can probably
Yeah.
transfer it myself.
Yeah, we
Here.
can't follow up. Yeah, DSATS can't follow up because we'll have to pay another $25 to send the $10.
No, exactly. So I think it's. But yeah, just if you could just copy me or send me something, I can probably pay to their account this 100 kroners. It's not a big deal.
Thank you, Serafima.
and the
Yeah, thank
symposium.
you.
Any leftover balance from the symposium, Robert? We haven't closed that out with SPE yet, have we?
I haven't seen any information to close it out.
Okay.
No. I can also update. So we contacted the SPE representatives. There were some questions like on some costs, but I still haven't heard anything back. So unfortunately, we're still on their side to close it. I sent a reminder a few days ago, but still, yeah.
So they were paying the costs, Serafima, right? They paid for the food, drink, coffee, whatever it was, and what is left is to us. Okay. So
yes, but there is some costs like project management costs and some other things. So that we asked about. I guess some of them could be covered by the AV grant, right, for the DSATS thing. But I just need the SP to come back to answer the email to do something about it.
sorry for insisting on this, but I mean, what project management is SPE charging fees?
No.
What
Yeah, the project management was actually, so they're providing the room, but with the room comes the person that I don't know, answers the questions on what they can provide and the room. So that person charged a few hours of work
from the facility. Okay.
From the facility, yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is in maybe an SPE. It's part of the room, at least some of it. But
Okay.
we need some
They're-
answers.
Yeah, Demetrius, they're not huge amounts, but they're amounts that SPE usually absorbed before. So
Okay.
Serafina's been trying to get back to Yasmin and tell her what SPE covered in the past and get her to cover the same stuff. And there is a
Okay.
small AV fee, which we're proposing Greg uses his $5,000. It'll only be a small amount towards it. So we're looking very healthy budget-wise. It's just tidying up these loose ends, and Yasmin doesn't know what's been paid before. So we're kind of the ones educating her.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Greg. I'm tracking this, and I know that in the past we've had issues with whoever the staff person was with SPE charging their hours to the technical section by mistake when they're supposed to be charging it to my code. So and it's difficult because it seems like every year we have that symposium in Stavanger, there's a new SPE staff person. So it's like they have to learn all over again. So I'm assuming that if I see those staff costs that they're charging to you, I'll correct her when I get, when she gets back to me as well. I'll correct her, and if she has done that, we'll take care of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg. One last question here. So until now, the fiscal year was from April 1st to March 31st, correct, Greg? The reason I'm asking this is that the symposium, the cost, the audio video cost for the symposium should be in the fiscal year that just ended. And starting now on April 1st, a new 5K is allocated, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And this Yeah, go ahead.
We use it for when the event happened, not whenever we settled the payment. So that falls into last year's, and then starting April 1st, you get a whole new 5,000.
And now that SPE is changing its fiscal year to match, the election of it's going to be from September to September, I think. How does that affect this allowance?
They're switching it to be where it's in line with like the government fiscal year, October 1st to September, the end of September. And I'm not sure. I have to check on that. I don't think that'll be an issue. I think what'll happen is the next 5,000 will start in October, or October 1st instead of April 1st, because I'm starting the new fiscal year.
Okay. The ATC is early October, isn't it, this year?
October 20th.
October 20th. So it's gonna. But the switch happens this year or next year, Greg? The switch of the fiscal year happens this year.
This October, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy trying to keep track of that, but I believe it's October of this year.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Just a couple of other points. We did transfer 3,000 to Drillbotics to cover travel expenses. That's well below the 25,000 that was approved. That the Drillbotics account has $1,700 in it, but there is a commitment coming up for $6,500 to close out the Drillbotics documentary, which I presume will come out of the DSATS, since we've used all of the original sponsorships for travel.
Yeah.
And last thing, it is the end of the year for SPE, at least this cycle. And we have filled out, Sam and I, as part of the handover, have filled out the form. We just owe it to Greg. I'm going to leave it up to Sam to send it to you, but it is ready to be sent.
That is June 1st, Robert, no? Or May
It's
1st?
due June 1st, but since
1st,
the fiscal year is over, we have all the information that we need to fill it out.
We have to prepare also a summary, Blakely, for the overall health of the section, and I'll send you the last 1-2 years and we
Okay.
can work together to put this for this last year, you know.
Awesome. That'll be good.
And that's all I have. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. Perfect. So I don't know if everyone's familiar with Mentimeter. I know there's been some discussions in the past around, you know, finding a new A word essentially to replace the automation within DSATS. So I put together like a quick kind of Mentimeter activity for us to go through and do. Bear with me because I'm new to using Mentimeter, but if you guys don't mind scanning this QR code, then I'll pull up kind of the slides for everyone to see. Andre, I see you have your hand raised.
Why are we changing automation?
Yeah, so I think there's been some discussion in the past, and John, you can kind of take over or correct me if I'm wrong here. But because automation is so kind of widely used today and it's reached a decent level of maturity, I think there's a question of, is this still kind of a cutting edge topic that we want to continue talking about, or do we need to expand it to fit kind of a broader scope, not just around automation, but around like integrations, activity planning, or kind of like the holistic, how do you integrate systems to deliver automation kind of mindset?
Okay, but at least in my mind, automation is one of the things that is like the differential that, as it is a broad scope, we can fit a lot of things under automation. So I'm quite happy with this at the moment. I do think there's a lot of development to be done under the automation umbrella.
Andre,
Okay.
automation doesn't go away. We're looking at, basically, we're looking at drilling systems. And we've had debates in previous meetings, and there's been common agreement that we should change it from drilling systems automation to drilling systems, which includes automation. And then there was the discussion that DSATS has a brand image out there. And there was a proposal, I think it was Paul Pastasek said, hey, why don't we call it something where we use another word for the A in DSATS so it remains as DSATS, but it's picking up this broader view of drilling systems. When you look at digitalization, when you look at the Drilling Digital Forum from October last year in Montgomery, Texas, it's a bigger, broader issue than just automation, but it includes automation. It's not going away. And I think we have been through these discussions in previous meetings, and we're basically at the point it was put off until the new board was in place and the new chair was in place to complete this process of adopting a new name.
So the survey, Blakely, is asking for 3 words. This is for.
So let me open it up, and it should send. Hold on, let me go to the first. So the first question that should pop up. Is how effective has DSATS been in driving industry change?
That's not what I see. I see a question that says, where has DSATS made the greatest impact so far? And it has 3 fields for free text fields, you know. I can choose any word I want, not multiple choice or anything, you know. That is a little bit open-ended, you know.
I was seeing that before too, Dimitrios, but it updated. Try refreshing your.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Because it should start on this first slide. That is a question later on, but not yet.
Okay.
I saw the other question, and then when you changed the slides, Blakely, this one came up.
Okay, so maybe Dimitrios, if you try to refresh.
Okay. Right.
So far, we've got 6 responses. So we'll give it a little bit since we got, I think, 15 on the call. Once we get to about 10 or 12, we'll go to the next one. Has everyone that has it open responded? 9 may be where we top out. Oh, there we go. Couple more.
Come on, guys, we got 15 on the call. Why can't DSATS people vote? This is a common problem.
Let's see. To be fair, I don't have it open because since I'm presenting, so let me try and do it on my phone as well.
Oh no, don't worry then. Okay. That's
That way
14.
I'm not missing out too.
And Riam's probably checking her baby monitor, so we can let her off the hook.
No, I
Good. Okay, so 3.8 there. The next one is, it looks like everybody's already gone through. So enter 3 words, how we've made the greatest impact so far. And these are ones that we can go through later on, but we'll just collect all the answers now. We've got 6, so I'll give it a couple minutes for more. So far, outreach, knowledge, systems advancements, automation, collaboration, integration is great. I'm gonna add some as well. Okay, so we're at 12. Automation, collaboration, awareness are definitely the largest. Integration, networking, culture, student involvement, knowledge. I think 13 is probably where we'll cap out. And then this one is a ranking. So where should we focus on more moving forward? Some of these are probably a little bit of repeats, but so not surprisingly, interoperability is the first, drilling system second, makes sense, automation, performance optimization, safety, reliability, machine learning, and workforce enablement. In a minute more. Is anyone still working? I think 13 is where we've capped out, so I'll go ahead and move to the next one. And this one is just a free text to say, what should the A stand for in the future? And then we'll go through and vote, or just at least rank them, so we can see between, the 13 of us, kind of what we think would be good ones. I also, just in case, did some good ChatGPT research to identify some additional A names, just in case we kind of struggle to find more than just automations or automation or analytics. I like awesome. That's a good one. I don't know if it
That's
totally rings the drilling systems awesome technical section. Agnostic. Be pretty good.
Is this a Mentimeter a free tool, Blakely, or we have to pay a subscription?
This is the free option for it. There is paid versions to do it, like unlock some features, but this is just kind of the free base level functionality.
And I think there is a limit for the number of people if you use the free version. So that's also a difference with the paid. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's what 20 or 30 for the free version.
But it's
and
very
even like
nice.
the number of presentations you can do is a little bit small as well. I think you can only do like a couple of these presentations with the free version as well. So if this is something that we consider, we can certainly I can look up the pricing. We can talk about it. All right, I think that's all. Before we move on to the next slide, do we want to do we want to include the kind of ChatGPT along with the options we have here? There's some doubles, but there's some different.
I would dump everything in, right? I mean, to me, we're generating options at this point.
Yes. Great. Let me pull this one. So advancement, acceleration.
I can tell from our discussion that we need to develop more of a consensus even among the officers, because you can still see that we're still thinking digital systems and automation instead of drilling systems.
I'm just going to throw these in quick, so bear with me. Actionable. This will be a lot to make, but that's okay.
It's interesting that you brought that up, Matt, because I like that too, digital systems advancement. Because in that forum last October, it wasn't just about drilling, was it?
Mm-mm.
And it's not just about digital, right? I mean, we really are trying to tackle the systems piece of it, because the motor and the bit and the MWD and all the other components are always being improved as well.
Okay, there we go. So the couple of crossovers we had were advancement, analytics, architecture. Some additional ones would be applications, adaptation, assurance, agility, acceleration, augmentation, actionable, and agnostic.
I'm sorry. Why don't we have automation as well to choose from?
I can add that back in. I think I didn't have it in here just since the intention was to replace, but I can have it.
Yeah, but maybe people can give an opinion if they want to replace it or not.
Yes,
then you have a choice.
exactly. Yeah, great point.
Thank
great
you.
point. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We'll give it a couple minutes. We have a lot to go through and rank here, so.
I do not see on my side. I don't know if the others are seeing, but I don't see on my side automation coming up.
It's number 12.
Item 12.
Yeah, I think, Radhika, we ought to be careful not to go back through a conversation we've already had to change it from automation. So if we go back.
No, but that's not my point. It's just that if people want to vote or not, because of course we can go back to different discussions and what is included in what. For instance, automation includes interoperability, analytics is much broader, while others are very broad. But it's just to choose from, because was it decided that we remove automation?
Yeah, we agreed that in previous meetings.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we've
Okay.
discussed it and we've agreed it. And then Paul Pastusek sent an email listing out 8 or 10 words that he came up with. And his point was, don't change it to DSTS, Drilling Systems Technical Section. Keep DSATS,
Okay, I'm sorry,
DSATS,
I
because
didn't
of the
saw
branding.
this email
Yeah,
that
and
we
then
already
hence,
decided.
yeah, hence change the A to something that is meaningful. I mean, drilling systems is what we're talking about. And I think that for me, the advancement, I didn't actually put that in there, but advancement, it was on his list. And advancement to me is probably a good word for it.
Yeah, I think that one's my favorite. That and maybe even like architecture is maybe a little too niche. Advancement
It's
kind of umbrella
correct.
term covers everything.
Yeah, architecture's niche, perfect word for it. It's a piece of it, but it's not there. Analytics crosses over into DSATS, that other group.
Exactly.
That's doing, yeah.
That one may not. I think that was one of the Chat GPT suggestions. I don't think that was one of the original ones that you had sent or from the previous. Analytics is absolutely a part of it, right? At the end of the day, why is this valuable? What's working? What's not? How do we progress?
I put up augmentation, and it's a fancy word, but I think the problem is it's not really fully understood what it means. So you have to go look it up. Whereas advancement is far more easily understood, especially across different languages.
Agreed.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, I mean, my goal is bringing everybody into the fold, right? I mean, getting the people that have, whether it's an advisory system that operates in the digital space or a mechanical system that operates in the real world, right, is having all of us come together so that we work on these systems and, basically do the integration work. That seems to be where we're at today, right? I mean, automated systems are ubiquitous, and the mechanical stuff is that's the part that does the work. So really, to me, where we're at is we want to bring all of these groups together and, create more of these little working teams so that we collaborate and get this stuff out there and accelerate it. The other acceleration was the other word that I had thought of, but I think advancement is a better word than accelerate.
Yeah.
So I
I
didn't
like
even throw
the
that out there.
adaptation as well. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think one of the other key things is we've got to get the operators into the game.
Yeah. Well,
I
it goes
think
back to
the automation piece may be too niche for the operators to really roll up their sleeves and get involved. There's plenty of operators that are tasked with technology, but not that many that are only focused on automation.
I think it's like what was really interesting for me about the forum too was thinking about it's very easy to pigeonhole yourself just into drill a fast, efficient well. But how you hand that over to completions, how the well actually produces is what's going to make the greatest impact from an operator's perspective. So like thinking about what should the priorities be to ensure successful completion and what sort of information they need to effectively hand over from the drilling team to the completion team, I think is also very interesting. It's not, at least from my side, not widely explored.
Yeah, it's where that interoperability or the flow of data, and it's not just from well life cycle phase, but it's also between all the companies involved with drilling the well and the complexities with that. That's been a huge topic for us, at least, right? Within the last year and a half.
So I think that's all. 13 has been kind of our average number. So advancement, adaptation, analytics, and automation are our top 4. Do we want to send this out to kind of the broader community to get feedback on maybe the top 4 or 5? Or are we all in alignment that advancement is the right path forward?
I think if you, excuse me, if you send it to the community, you're going to have to send the whole story of what we've discussed so far, how we got here, why we want to change it. I think they've entrusted the board and the officers and director emeritus with taking some decisions here. I mean, I'm outside of voting normally as a director emeritus. So it's really the board and the officers, I think, to take this forward. And it looks to me like advancement is a very sensible solution. And then I would put it out through Greg to the members to say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to squeak, they can squeak, but I really doubt it. I think the point Andre brought up is he still wants automation. So I think an explanation that it still includes automation. We're not stopping automation. So
yeah, the messaging is important.
Yeah, the way it's projected. And then Greg did say before to us that we can go ahead and make the change. It sounds like it's pretty straightforward. It's happened before, and the management technical section is actually doing it now. They're struggling with what to call theirs because they're being misunderstood about their content when they're focused more on assets than general management.
That makes sense.
I mean, if I could vote, I'd vote for advancement. I think it's come out clearly ahead. I think it's meaningful. It's positive. But yeah, I can't vote.
Fair. Excuse me.
I think the messaging is important.
Agreed.
It's not just a word, one A versus the other A, but I think the activities, what we do as a section, and how that affects, the overall industry going forward and the day-to-day work of our members, I think that's really where the biggest gain is for engaging people and engaging companies, like Matt was saying. So we have to somehow map this advancement onto what we are doing, what we are publishing, what we are saying, But that's the difficult part. Coming up with a word is the easy part.
Yes.
This is John. I'm joining really late. Sorry, I was half an hour late. But advancement is really generic. Every single technical sections are trying to advance drilling systems. All the DSs you could put A in there if you want. So don't we need something a bit more specific to what this group is doing? I don't know what the word is.
So, John, we're trying to expand from drilling systems automation to drilling systems. And
Right.
instead of throwing the A away, if you remember, Paul Pastasek flagged that DSATS has a brand out there. And if we can keep DSATS and just put a different word for A so that it captures its drilling systems, automation is within that, then I think we accomplish both things.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out if you put in drilling systems advancement technical section, you could say that for any of the other groups, in fact.
No, not really. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the survey group, they're not trying to advance drilling systems.
Yeah, I would disagree. And is Robert on the call? But I mean, they're going to multi-station analysis and so on. So they definitely are advancing the way we drill by collapsing errors and so on.
Yes, I'm on the call.
So seat 21A is here, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Seat 21A is here. Yeah. Seat 21A has actually been in use recently. I'm actually calling from Glasgow.
Yeah. And
Which is
also
why I was
notice on planes, 21A is actually premium economy class, so you've been upgraded, huh?
It used to be. Well, it didn't used to be, so I don't sit there very often anymore.
Why aren't you traveling first class?
I don't have your money.
Just find somebody to invoice, man. Come on.
So your you mentioned to me, John, was for asking my opinion or something.
Yeah, I was just saying that any other, the advancement is a very generic word, is so it could apply to any of the other drilling systems technical sections, or any of the other technical sections. All of them are trying to advance drilling or some facet of the operation.
Yes, absolutely. But that's what all the sections are about, right? And so we've been drilling systems automation. I don't remember voting to remove the automation, but if that's what we did and that's where we're going, then I think advancement is definitely something we're trying.
Okay.
Using that word.
Oh, sorry, you
Other
dropped
words
off
I
in
do
the
have
middle
grief
there.
with. I'm sorry. I don't have any grief with using advancement if we have to change the word from automation. Some of the other words I'm not quite so fond of, but I think we are all trying to advance our different bits and pieces. So if we're going to change from automation, advancement seems reasonable. It's a generic, doesn't mean much other than what we're really trying to do.
Yeah, I guess the the conversation previously has been really around, how do we combine the mechanical and the digital, right? And to the point about, this really contributes to the well life cycle, not just the, how fast you drill from point A to point B. So
Matt, I was just doing the same exercise you were. I was looking up on the site, like what other technical sections are there? And this is the only, I mean, there's drilling systems automation and then drilling uncertainty prediction. The other ones aren't drilling specific.
Well, I mean, the wellbore positioning kind of is.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have drilling in the title.
We kind of are. There's a lot of drilling involved in that, but
Yeah.
Some of it is subsurface. A lot of it's subsurface without the drilling aspects, or it should be.
And it also applies to geothermal.
I don't know. So automation implies they have a digital construct, right? So within Baker anyway, we call that automation and robotics, yeah, because we have focus on robotics as well. But I anticipate that digital will somehow disappear because we don't have an electrical group anymore, and so on and so forth. And digital is just a fundamental technology. But advancement, then fine, although I think it's to say we have drilling system advancement technical section is rather broad, huh?
Exactly.
That is the intent, right? Is to get the rest of the BHA and the other services that go along with drilling systems into the conversation and go beyond just the automation piece.
I don't think there's
another technical section, robotics and automation.
Correct.
Sorry,
Autonomous systems, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Drilling systems autonomous technical section.
That's probably the most controversial of the words.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that would be a harder change than advancement, personally. I know John has strong feelings on autonomy.
read
And
our
myself
paper.
included, right? I think there, like, initially when automation was being deployed, there was a big misconception that automation meant autonomy, and that's couldn't be further from the truth, right?
There's already a technical section that has that name.
That's what I was saying. There's already one that's robotics and autonomous systems.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I was saying. There's
Yes, I
robotics and
understand.
autonomous systems. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
A couple of thoughts is, one, we'll still be known as DSATS. I don't think people say, oh, it's drilling systems automation technical section. They say DSATS. So we keep that branding out there. It's just saying, hey, we're going broader than automation. We're going into drilling systems, broader group. I don't think there's any issue with the wellbore positioning technical section, which is ISC WSA, because we know what they do. They're very good at what they do. They've carved out a niche and they're recognized, and we collaborate with them. We've done a number of panel sessions with them at ATCE events. So I see no issues there at all.
I don't see any conflicts with the wellbore positioning technical section either.
Yeah. And maybe, like, we've talked about messaging and how that this gets presented to the greater technical section, right? Maybe in that messaging, it's, you know, we can talk about how advancement is the new kind of umbrella term, if you will, but it still includes all of these different things from automation and interoperability and analytics and the like.
So does
That may
automation.
clarify.
Someone mentioned DUPS, and yeah, DUPS charged out of the door in Saudi Arabia and was run out of there by a few key people. I think it's kind of lost its way. They had a roadmap and stuff, but I don't know, Greg, they seem to have gone very quiet. I'm a member of them and I don't see anything happening.
Which section?
DUPS, Drilling Uncertainty Prediction Technical Section.
Yeah, we have a couple of technical sections that are kind of have some inactivity and have had for a while, and they're one of them that we're kind of trying to look at and see what the issue is and how we can help.
I'll send an email to Robin and recommend that we absorb them into DSATS.
I guess what was their kind of
trying to start something, John.
I've been trying for a couple of years with that group.
Hey, I mean, I'm open to options. You know, I can talk to Chad and see what he says and what he thinks, and who knows, it may be an option. So. Don't quote me on that, and don't.
You own the recording, not us.
I dropped it in the chat, Blakely.
Thank you.
The group that we're talking about.
Yeah, I was just trying to look that up on the side as well.
Yeah.
Because it does seem, I don't know, that would be tough to kind of carve out something separate just for uncertainty. And if you look at that mission statement, it's rings true for a lot of what we already do, right? And what we're hoping to expand to. I guess on that, Greg, you're going to take an action to kind of see where they stand and what the future of DUPS is.
I'd be curious to know. I'd be curious to know if there's more operators in that group.
Yes.
That could be absorbed if we do have a single section. That it would. That there would be more operator representation.
They basically started in Saudi Arabia, driven by some Aramco guys. So yeah, and then what's his name? Petrotech, the data company that works for Aramco. They were heavily involved in it. They did launch themselves. They did do stuff. They had some energetic people. They made a roadmap, but it's just kind of fizzled. I think the energetic people got busy elsewhere, and they don't
Mhm.
have the momentum behind them.
Petrolink?
Petrolink, yes, correct.
Yeah.
John Curtis. He didn't like DSATS at all, but never mind. It's another story.
Maybe that's why they were their own technical
Well,
section.
yeah, they were very regional the way they started, and yeah, I mean, we were more Europe and the States, and then we've been expanding and creating a bigger footprint.
Is that group a little more subsurface focused as well, if it's uncertainty?
No, not really. They're looking at drilling. They're sort of data geeks running it.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see kind of what specifically was the niche, and it just seems very, I guess, generic or similar.
Mm-hmm.
At level perspective. I mean, if you look at the roadmap, and I'm see if I can add it to the chat here real quick on my phone. There you go. I sent it in the chat.
They actually they started to do symposiums like us. In fact, they there's a history. They took our slot at an ATCE, our Sunday slot. So we got together with Wellbore Positioning, and we took a slot in the main conference itself. That was our reaction to that. But when they took our slot for a Sunday afternoon, I went to their session. There were 8-10 people there. That was it. And most of them were associated with the people running the session.
Yeah. It seems more around like integrating modeling in real time and then AI applications.
Yeah, like I said,
forecast. I mean, it's yeah, they're the data nerds, right? But I think that's well within the umbrella that we're talking about here. And honestly, there's probably already a lot of crossover with what DWIS is doing as far as an interoperability perspective.
I think so. I think that's a fair comment.
Okay, so I mean, I guess without continuing down the depths, what future conversation, Greg, I guess after you reach out to them and see where that stands, and if it makes sense to bring them in as like a subcommittee, or at least for whoever is still there, that would be interesting. And to Riam's point, I'd be very curious to see what kind of the makeup is of that technical section today, if it's more heavily operator focused than DSATS.
Yeah, I'll have a meeting with Chad, my supervisor, next Tuesday, and I'll bring this up and we can discuss if that may be a possibility, or obviously Robin would be involved with making that any kind of decision like that, and the board. So
yeah, absolutely. Out of curiosity, when does Robin's term end?
October, right, Greg?
In October, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is his 3rd year. So
yeah,
because I saw Sarah's stepping in.
Yeah, Sarah's taking over, and I think it happens at ATCE.
That makes sense. Okay, so I guess around the kind of a replacement discussion, would the general consensus, I think, is advancement, but there's still some maybe hesitation from the group at large. Maybe a appropriate next step is we can put together like what messaging would look like here, and then have one final vote among the board and officers to say yes or no. And then if we all agree, we can go through and kind of make a plan on how we make that change and message the change to the group at large. Is that a fair plan forward?
Yeah. You may want to put the poll on the website, likely, so everybody can participate, not only the people on the call, you know.
Yeah, well, and I had asked that question earlier. John's response was, you know, as the board, it's our, you know, job to make some, it could cause more confusion unless you.
Blakely, I think Demetrios means the rest of the board and officers who aren't on the call.
Yes, agreed. We can do that.
Again, what you say makes
makes
perfect sense, because if we come up with a description of what it is and then use the website as the means to share that with board and officers who can vote and then get their feedback on it.
Okay. So I guess, does anyone want to be involved with making kind of like an overall prompt, or just, this is why we're making the change, this is what it would potentially include, and then I can create the poll for like the top 5 that we have here, maybe? Or do we want to expand the full 12 to the board and officers?
Maybe we can include in the explanation of advancement, signal progress, automation, innovation, and forward movement.
Yeah. Add that.
Since I was one of the instigators, I would be happy to support this.
Okay. Well, I'll take a first stab at it and then coordinate with you, and Riam, I'll probably ask for your help as well, just in getting it up on the website.
Yeah,
making sure we can do that appropriately.
Are we thinking on the website, does it go under groups?
Well, yeah, there's a group which is officers and board, and you can
and
send
subcommittee
stuff out.
chairs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that group updated with the new board and officers member?
I don't. So the group, no.
Okay.
I don't see that. The about page is updated with the list of people, but as far as access to the group, that has not been updated yet.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have a chance to spend some time with Edgar, Rion?
Yes, I did. Yeah, Edgar and Moray. So I need to just make that change on the group. I changed it on the about page, but I didn't do the group yet.
Okay.
Here's that just for your. That's the link to that group. This is the link to the about page. I was actually going to bring that up later, that I updated the about page so everybody can kind of double check their own spelling of their name and title.
Do that.
Yeah, I know I sent it to the smaller group, but yeah.
Do you have to request access to the group, or Riam, can you go in and manage the membership of that group itself?
I will see if I can manage the membership itself.
That may be easier.
Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah, but people have to register. I assume everybody has registered by now.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Blakely, I'll join Matt and assist you if you want my input as well. And I would also pull Maury in, because he's behind Matt. He's been vocal as well.
Okay. I will pull, I'll kind of open it up to a greater group, and then whoever has input can provide.
So I can add members, but to your point, Demetrius, they have to already be registered on the site. So what I'll do is I'll take that list of people, I'll add whoever I can, and then anyone who says doesn't appear as being a member on the site, I'll send an email to them and say, hey, you need to register so I can add you to the group.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So I think there was a couple more open slides. If we want to go through, if we have any other kind of feedback or ideas, we can always save this, since I know it's already 9:30. The only one that'll kind of feed like a later kind of discussion when we talk about events. Is there anything specifically, like topics or technologies, that we would like to hear about for future meetings, as far as like bringing in Special guests for community meetings or doing live streams with. This is something that maybe we can add to the website too, so we can get a kind of wider range of responses from the greater technical section. But was interested to hear y'all's feedback just within our team.
I'm not going to, well, I can type it in, but one thing I would like to hear about is more on the companies working on the digital programs, like the STEM line, Horizon 56. I think there's a few others. And one thing from the forum that kind of came up quite a bit was the system of systems approach. And it almost seems like that space is kind of becoming one of the natural aggregators for a lot of, at least the inputs for pieces of automation, or interacting with other automation software. So that's something personally I'd like to hear more about.
Okay.
I like that, and it touches that systems of systems, but I like that section in that forum that was about like it was like the planning, then the execute part. Well, what they were the different. I'm drawing a blank on the words we use now. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? It was like design, plan, execute, or something like that. Because you do that for drilling. You have to design, you have to put the well plan together, you have to execute, you have to do that for completions, design, plan, whatever. So that's kind of like there's systems for planning, there's systems for executing, there's just systems for afterwards. And that's just for drilling. Copy paste. You have to do the same thing for completions. And then you have to do the same thing for production. I thought that was another, again, that's more of like system of systems, to your point, Cody. Processes of processes, things like that.
Yeah, and you think about it, for each of those stages, there's a different company, and then across different well life cycles, there's different companies within those same stages. So then things get very convoluted very fast, and we wonder why data doesn't flow, from design to abandonment. And it's actually amazing that as much does now as it does. So it's a big challenge right now. As before, it was all digitalization. It's like, we need this digital data. Now we have too much digital data in too many different spots. What's the actionable data, and how do we keep that flowing and going and available?
If I may, lately, I think one part that we are missing is not the technical part, but is the value part. What we have been calling the business case for automation. I think it would be interesting to have some case studies, and maybe from an operator or even from technology developers, OEMs and service. But they come in and they explain, why it worked and what value it created and who benefited from that, and kind of put the horse back in front of the cart. We keep putting the technology first. I mean, people are almost tired listening of technology without being deployed and show me the money.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, we face that conversation constantly, right? It's everyone likes to hear about the new technologies, but at the end of the day, it still has to make sense and be valuable, and also not be something that prohibits workflows as well. Okay.
A lot of this discussion is actually mapping what we discussed yesterday, 5 of us led by Maury, for the 2026 symposium.
Correct. is good. That means it's all very relevant.
Yeah, it's
to
the
what we
same, the
wanna-
same sort of stuff we were brainstorming on, so.
Perfect. Well, good. Okay. Well, I'll include all of these slides with the answers when we send out the slide deck, just so that everybody can kind of see the responses. The last couple of things that we had for today, for community meetings was really just like talking about upcoming events. So we talked about all of the topics there on that Mentimeter. Does anyone have, just off the top of their head, I know Cody, you mentioned like the Xenibus and kind of like well planning technologies. Was there anyone else that you would think of?
I don't know how involved everybody has been in the DWIZ demos. But I mean, it might be good to get Eric to come give this group the highlights.
Absolutely.
Okay. Looks like DWIZ.
What is the next? The next one is on May. Is it May 2, Matt, or May 9? The next demo.
Let me look at my calendar right quick. May 23rd.
May 23. Okay.
Okay.
That's the Novus demo, so it should be quite good.
Right.
The last one last Friday was really successful. I don't know if everybody listened into it, but apart from one minor glitch where too many people were on, so hung it up for about 2 minutes. But apart from that, everything flowed really well.
Good.
It would be good to keep at least this group here up to date, about this, because it's kind of getting traction now with the industry, you know.
Okay. So maybe that'll be like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but I just think one thing I think here for these speakers is use cases. And I think it's fair to let people do what, you know, the tech talks in SPE are advertised that this is an SLB tech talk, SLB guys, whatever. I think that hiding who you are and everything else for papers doesn't matter. And I think the tech talk type of thing with companies saying what they've done, and if I heard Cody correct, I think he was referring to Horizon 56. There's companies out there who are doing stuff. I think we should give them a stage, maybe 30 minutes and 2 or 3 of them at a time to come say what they're doing in the form of a use case. Explain your use case and explain the value you delivered. I mean, make them argue what value they contributed. That is a big point that people raised here, that the value proposition needs to be articulated in order to let people understand if it's worth adopting these things.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And like the format would be interesting to do, not kind of like a side by side, but give them 5 to 10 minutes to present that use case. And then we can do like a Q&A panel after the fact, almost like what we've seen at the deck text before with that through IADC.
So another committee that we run, what we've done is publish topics, right? Like operational procedures. And then we ask for volunteers to come present on it. Right. That way it doesn't turn into, you know, pick your favorite company and let them come present, that you get a couple of different voices on the topic. You just need a program committee person to think about this and come up with a list of topics.
Yeah, I do think you kind of touched on a good point there, Matt, is not anchoring on one company. Like, for example, I mentioned Horizon 56 because I've worked with them, but there's also Stemline, and there's a few companies in that space. And we don't want to be like a one company. You know, a lot of it's been the SLB branded stuff for a while. And from an external point of view, I thought it was an SLB. I thought SPE and SLB had some kind of partnership with, some of these talks kind of for a while, but realizing that's not the case. It's just they're bringing a lot of material forward. So just not anchoring on one company in the space, and maybe even, I don't want to get in the space of doing head-to-heads or anything like that. But if you're inviting one, maybe having the competitor the next time or something like that, so we're not anchored on whatever niche it is, having a single company present over and over.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why we could get a couple of companies with similar technology, and then it's kind of like a back-to-back presentation of their specific use cases or what's their differentiator.
Yeah, that'd be
And then
cool.
you kind of open it up to a Q&A. I think those are always kind of interesting because sometimes, whether it's operator biases to one or that's all you've used and you just kind of have an inherent platform bias, you never see what the others are doing to innovate and differentiate their own technologies, right?
Yep. Exactly.
That may be a little bit more than just a community meeting. Would that be something we'd want to try to do for one of the SPE live events, or? Because I know, and Demetrios, correct me here, there's, I think, like 1 or 2 supported SPE live events that we can do throughout the year.
Yeah, we have I think we have one more in the calendar, one webinar and one SPE live, if I'm not mistaken. But don't let that limit us. I mean, we can organize our own webinars if we have.
Yeah.
If we need, other sections are doing that and they are successful. So
yeah.
We can record this, put it on YouTube or something afterwards. All those possibilities are open.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could even do it live on like LinkedIn or something to that effect as well. It's not that it has to be through SPE Lives.
I have a crazy idea, but it may be a dumb idea too. We could do very competition focus head to head on a very niche topic with, let's say it's back to back with, I don't know, 2 companies in the exact same space. And then it's like a audience vote, and then a bracket or something. I don't know, but make it fun in a way, where if you think about it from their client's point of view, that's an amazing thing, because just what I've seen, we'll go and operators will put us on blind head-to-heads with our competition, but they may not see other sides of things when they're making the decision on what vendor to go with. But this is just another bullet point where it's like, maybe more of a marketing play than anything, but it just makes it fun and may make it more interesting for the audiences as well.
And bring in more operators, right?
We did a live event in the past, right, with 5 minutes on and off, which it went extremely well. Anybody could go up there and present what their company does, and then got kicked off after 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
And Demetrios, weren't you involved in that?
Yeah, it was a 2022 drilling conference.
Yeah, that went extremely well. It was a lot of fun for the audience because they didn't have to listen to the same person present a slide deck for an hour, and everybody got something out of it, huh? And we didn't just limit it to small companies. Anybody could get up there and say what product they had, I think, in automation. So now we just open it up to what product they have for drilling systems.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things I'll throw in here. One is, I've been following the management technical section, and they won the presidential award in 2024 for technical sections. And they'd only been going about 3 years. So they went from 0 to this award in 3 years. They had a big advantage. They got 12,000 members. They got 12,000 members because SPE rolled everybody who put management discipline as one of their key things into that technical section. So people just got rolled in. It'd be like rolling everybody who's in the drilling group in SPE into DSATS. We'd have a lot more members. So they had an advantage. But they've had a very strong leadership, and they've done a lot of interesting things. So they're doing monthly webinars. every month they do a webinar. They've had some very strong speakers. They pay $1,000 a year to Zoom, and they're doing their own Zoom. So they're not waiting for SPE Live. They're not waiting for SPE webinars. They make those available as recordings. So I think some of the things you're talking about here and putting into this potential scope matches with the success they've had. They also do think tanks. Now, I've never been involved in one of their think tanks, and I don't know how it works. But they, in a discussion the other day amongst past and present and future leadership on one of their webinars, they said that was a big high value point or a high valued thing they did. So it might be worth looking into their think tanks as you're now brainstorming these competitions or the sales pitches or whatever. Is there something to learn from that? They say they use SPE Connect a lot. We don't. I get frustrated with SPE Connect, so I'm not going to push that one. But they seem to like it. Another point from our discussion yesterday with Maury and 5 of us was we want to have a dynamic session at the symposium in 2026 in Galveston. We want to mimic the layout of the digital drilling forum with tables and table work. To do that, we're going to have to, if this becomes the firm plan, it's brainstorming at the moment. To do that, we're going to have to identify some key players to sit at tables, to be assigned to them, to actually lead the discussion, because we have 4 hours or 3.5 hours to accomplish something. And then we said to accomplish that, we need to do some prep work. So we're discussing the possibility of over 6 months, one time a month, to have a keynote speaker on a webinar that leads into the symposium so that people would be encouraged to come to the webinar online, would learn or try and hook them up such that they follow all the webinars and then just end up being part of the session, the symposium. If they come to the symposium and are not a participant in the webinars, to go and listen to the recordings. So that would get them. And already we're talking about somebody who's an industry expert outside oil and gas on system of systems to come and talk about it, what it means, how it's being implemented, because we need to learn a lot around that. There was another guy that Maury brought up who's a leading expert out there on machine learning. So these would, and then human organizational performance, which Matt was very interested in, is to try and get somebody to come and talk about that. So we're thinking of 6 webinars that provide this background from experts leading into the symposium itself. So we get a bigger bang for the buck. So just, I think what you're discussing here is great. And I think it would be good to open up all the ideas and then come with a plan with multiple aspects of communication, because we ought to aim to get this damn presidential award. We've been around a long time. We've been recognized. We can learn what the management technical section did and do the same thing. They're sharing it. They're sharing their goodies.
Do you know who, do you have a relationship with the chair or any of the leadership on that technical section, John, that we could get in touch with?
I linked in with them and I know them. Okay. Yeah, Susan Howes is one of the key ones. She's going to be the SPE president. So Susan Howes is one of the key ones. I mean, they're open to discuss it. They had a great webinar. They were just sharing their ideas and sharing their lessons. I think it's recorded as well, so you could, where they post them, I don't know. They're Zoom meetings that they organize, and they said they paid $1,000 a year to Zoom to get, I think, to get that 1 hour session instead of the freebie 40 minutes, and to get the number of people.
And Matt, I'm just adding your note here. Request for committee assistance on specific topics.
Yeah, I mean, like the one that Eric would do on DWIZ, right? I mean, he would really be. We're more interested in what does he want from us than what does he have to tell us about interoperable systems in this group, right? So it would kind of slant to what they come talk to us about.
Okay. Perfect. We've got a lot of good feedback and information here that we may want to think a little bit more so that we can mature offline. If there's anything additional as far as like ideas or anything to that effect, shoot them my way, and then I'll make sure that we talk to the program chairs about what we can get planned out for the year. Just for the sake of time, since I know it's already 9:55, John, did you want to give a quick update on the planning for ATCE and or IDC next year?
Yeah, so the IDC is basically what I just described. So
Correct.
I don't think I'll repeat that. It's
No.
only just kicked off yesterday. It's in brainstorming mode. I think we got a great plan. We had an absolutely fantastic meeting, and all credit to Maury. I'm only speaking on Maury's behalf for the ATCE one, but the primary idea is to do what we did last year and get an industry guy to come in and just do a verbal presentation to the group and then have the drinks and whatever with it. We have a guy, a CEO that we decided I'd contact, and I did. I know him, and Maury has been on a panel with this guy and was very positive about him. And at first he said he couldn't do it because the new ATCE timing, with the shift to Houston, it changed the date, and it clashes with his board meeting. Then he sent, I sent him a follow-up, and then he sent me and Maury a paragraph, and it was completely stunning. The viewpoints he has about adoption of automation in North America, unbelievable stuff, stunning. Okay. Anyway, awesome. So I'm still trying to encourage him to shift his meeting. Anyway, so I don't know if he's going to change his board meeting so he can get to ATCE. I don't know what. At the moment, he's gone a bit quiet. But that's the target we're looking at. So to have a speaker, same type of thing that we had with Subodha, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing, Maurice filled in these forms. I think they went through Greg. He actually filled in a form, hopefully he told you, was to have a board meeting room so that you can have a board and officers meeting face to face. I think he's trying to time it that it goes in front of the DSATS session. The DSATS session would be Monday evening, presumably 6 till 7 or whatever it is, just a 1 hour deal again.
Yeah.
And I have received those from Maury. So for the committee meeting and the reception. So I do have those.
Thank you, John, for the update. I'd be interested to see, I mean, if that specific mystery CEO is not available, it would be good if you could share his insights, at least with kind of the board, just to get his perspective. Or maybe we could ask him to be like a special section or a special event speaker in some other regard, right? If it's not at the event prior to ATCE, we can do it for one of kind of the one-off.
Yeah, for sure. And he's the kind of guy who does, he's active in the industry. Let me put it that way. So he's the kind of guy you can pull in. I know him personally, and Maury's met him. So.
Okay, good deal. Maybe we can follow up on that one.
Yeah, I should do. Yeah.
Yeah, just pending. If he can't come, then we'll find another opportunity for him to be able to speak to the group at large.
Yeah.
Does anyone have, we're right at 9:59. Does anyone have any other like feedback or hot topics that we want to discuss either next time or that we want to chew on in between meetings?
One of the things I noticed when I looked at the website that you forwarded again was that we've got two groups that don't seem terribly active, verification group and the uncertainty group, I think it was, inside our stuff. So that might be want to get a review on, are they still needed as subcommittees or what's happening?
That's a really great point. I think I got the same impression that those two are kind of silent and it's like kind of unsure what who's leading them and kind of what their future is.
So Rodica is leading the V&V one, verification and validation. We published an SPE paper. As far as I saw, it went silent. However, at the DWIS presentation, she did say some words at the end of it, and she said they're still progressing on it. But I was on the committee. I haven't been at any meetings. There weren't any called. So it's gone silent, but she did say it's progressing. And I don't know. I don't know how much is actually she's talking about progressing within Norse, who is doing their own stuff on V&V, or how much is progressing as a DSATS committee, which I haven't seen any activity.
Yeah,
right.
From my perspective, I think it's something that is an interesting topic that a lot of people are interested in, the guarantees or how we actually do this stuff with all our software involved. So it'd be worthwhile pursuing if somebody's interested in leading that and pushing it forward. Otherwise, we need to prune it off and not have any dead branches.
Yeah, agreed. So I'll try to reach out to V&V and uncertainty subcommittee chairs specifically to kind of see what's going on there. And then maybe we can have an update from them. Either it may be more appropriate for the next kind of board and officer meeting, just to kind of see where they stand and what the focus points are.
That would be perfect.
Awesome. Well, we're at 10:01, so I'll be respectful of everybody's time. Thank you guys for everything today. I appreciate you guys being patient with me with the first meeting. I think we had a lot of really good discussions, both around kind of what we do next with the technical section, and I'm really excited about kind of what we'll do event-wise as well. I think that'll bring a lot of excitement, not only to kind of the core group, but also help us start to expand as well.
Yeah, good meeting, Blakely. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
This
Bye,
is
guys.
Greg. I have the next meeting scheduled for May 8th, and that would be the whole like the officer and member meeting. Is that still good?
Yeah, I think that's fine for now. Maybe we'll discuss kind of what the agenda should be, and if we bring in any special kind of speakers for that one specifically. I know last one we didn't have one. I don't know who the previous kind of couple speakers have been, but if it happens that it's more important that we have board specifically, maybe we can make that call within the next kind of 2 weeks if we don't have anything for community at large yet.
Okay, I'll just keep the placeholder there, and then you can let me know what you want to do with it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Greg. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.